Let's learn some basic techniques for DIY jewelry making. In this video, we'll cover all the steps you'll need to make your first piece. We recommend starting with a bracelet. Bracelets are relatively quick and everything you'll learn can be applied to making necklaces and other designs. For this project, we'll be using one of our charm cubes, jewelry wire, our beginner tool, and jewelry findings. The first step is to measure out our wire. Use your wrist as a guide and wrap the wire around it loosely. It should look something like this. Then, take that length and add 1 to 2 inches. We'll be using this extra length to make loops. Next, use your tool to make a cut. Now we have the frame of our bracelet. Now that we've prepared our wire, let's learn how to make something called a wire-wrapped loop. First, pick up your wire and use the tool to grab it around 1 inch from the end. Then, use your fingers and bend the wire 90 degrees. It should look something like this. Using the tool again, grab the bend we just created. Next, using your fingers, grab the tail end and wrap the wire up and over the top of the tool. The tail should make another 90-degree angle with a loop like this. Now, use your tool and grab the loop. Finally, while holding the loop, let's use our fingers to wrap the tail end tightly around the stalk of the wire, coiling from top to bottom. I usually wrap it around 2 or 3 times, then cut off the excess wire and use the tool to tuck in the end so that it doesn't stick out and have a sharp end. A completed wire-wrapped loop should look something like this. Loops help hold our jewelry together, and we will also use them to connect different pieces and components. Now that our wire is prepared with a loop on one end, we can start to add our beads and charms. You can choose to plan your design in advance to achieve a specific look, or simply freestyle it and go with the flow. Our charm cubes feature different themes with hand-picked colors and styles, so it's hard to go wrong either way. So, I've added a couple of beads, and let's say now I want to add a dangling charm. To do this, we're going to need a jump ring and a charm of our choice. First, we'll need to learn about jump rings, and how to open and close them. This is what an open jump ring looks like. Notice the cut in the ring, and how the two sides are turned away from each other, so that there's a visible opening. This is what a closed jump ring looks like. The cut is still there, but the two sides are meeting, so that there's no visible opening. To open a jump ring, take a closed jump ring and find the split. You should face the split upwards. Then, taking your index finger and thumb, pinch one side of the jump ring. Next, use your tool to grab the other side. While holding the jump ring firmly, turn the tool towards you and the two ends of the ring should start to separate. Be sure to not simply pull it apart or open it too much, as that will cause the jump ring to become misshapen and weak. Now, our jump ring is ready to be used to attach the metal charm to our piece. First, simply thread the loop on the charm through one side of the jump ring like so. Closing a jump ring is basically the same as opening one. Take your index finger and thumb and pinch one side of the jump ring. Then, use your tool to grab the other, and turn the tool away from you until the two ends meet. It should look something like this. To add the charm to our piece, simply thread the jump ring through the wire. Now our charm will dangle nicely, and we can continue filling out the bracelet. You can repeat this step for as many metal charms as you like. Note that if we didn't go through the step of first attaching a jump ring before adding the charm to our bracelet, it would dangle awkwardly on its side instead of nicely on its front. After adding some more beads, let's say now I want to add a spacer bead. Within the set of jewelry findings, you might find a small charm that looks like a hollow heart. This will help us add a spacer bead. We can use this and attach a small bead in the middle to create an effect that looks like this. To add this to our jewelry piece, first take the charm and only thread the wire through one of the holes. It should look something like this. Next, take your small bead and thread it through like normal. Finally, thread the wire through the other end of the charm so that the bead is held in between the heart charm. And that's how you add a spacer bead. Spacer beads are used to create texture and complexity in our designs. Now, we're going to fill out the rest of the bracelet as desired, but make sure to leave around 1 inch of wire at the end. We're nearing the end of making our bracelet. You can see that I've left around 1 inch of wire at the end. We're going to be using this wire to create a second wire wrapped loop which will close our bracelet and hold everything in place. To finish the piece, we'll need 2 open jump rings, a lobster clasp, and our tool. Start by making the last wire wrapped loop using the same method as before. If there is excess wire after making the loops, simply cut it off using the tool and tuck in the end. Now, let's make our bracelet wearable. To make our bracelet wearable, start by taking an open jump ring and thread one of the loops through. Then, use the tool to close the jump ring. Next, we'll need to do the same thing with the other loop. Before closing the jump ring on this one, also thread the small loop on the lobster clasp through the jump ring like this. Finally, close the jump ring as normal. After all of these steps, our bracelet is finished and ready to wear. Congratulations on making your first piece of jewelry. If you get stuck on any of the steps or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll try our best to get back to you.